The microphone is this on? Yang ni boleh pakai? Bismillah. Ha? Oh, that mic, eh? Okay. So this mic is off.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Tuan Haji Jamal Muhammad Jamal Syamsuddin, CEO of Vaksin and co-chairman of this My Solidarity, My Multifaith Fund, Mr. Pek Jihan from the Malaysia Buddhist Consultative Council, His Excellency Emir Saleh Yüksel, Ambassador of Turkey, respected leaders of NGOs and multi-faith organizations, ladies and gentlemen. So as we know, it has been already 2 weeks since the devastating earthquake that hit the south of Turkiye and the north of Syria. And until today, with more than 40,000 deaths and many more injured, and with so many buildings collapsed, rescue operations are still ongoing. And it is really heartening to see that regardless of our faith and ethnic backgrounds, today we are gathered here in solidarity to come together to in this humanitarian effort to launch this My Multi-Faith Solidarity Fund to assist the victims of the earthquake. So in view of the time, without much ado, I would like to invite Tuan Haji Jamal Syamsuddin to give his opening address.
Thank you, Haji Adam, MC for today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera to all my dear brothers and sisters, pemimpin-pemimpin pertubuhan agama dan NGO agama. Kita mengucapkan selamat datang kepada pimpinan-pimpinan seperti Datuk Dhamma Ratna, iaitu penasihat kepada Malaysian Buddhist Consultative Council, begitu juga dengan Archbishop Julian Liao, the Archdiocese of Kuala Lumpur. We also have Saudara Muhammad Faizal, Presiden ABIM. Kita ada Profesor Dr. Suresh daripada Friendship Group Interfaith S2 apa dia? Services, Interreligious Services. We also have Mr. Chew Eng Di, the President of the Wajarana Buddhist Council of Malaysia. We have my old friend, Brother Sugumaran, from the Satyasai International. Thank you, brother. We also have a representative from the Buddhist Sentul Vihara, and on my left is, of course, I cannot forget my co-chairman, Mr. Pek Cheng Hee, Pek Jihan. We have the second secretary, Brother Osman, from the Turkish Embassy. Of course, Brother Fahmi, the CEO of Global Peace Malaysia. And then we, of course, have Reverend Jonathan Desudas, the Secretary General of the Council of Churches Malaysia. Mr. Yao is from the Young Buddhist Association of Malaysia. And most respected members of the press, today, I think kita berjumpa pada hari ini, pimpinan-pimpinan pertubuhan agama dan NGO agama. Kami terasa terpanggil untuk menunjukkan solidariti dengan negara Turki dan juga Syria yang ditimpa gempa bumi yang terdahsyat dalam 50 tahun. Kami pada hari ini akan mengumumkan kempen Malaysia Multifaith Solidarity Fund for Turkey dan Syria. Dan ini adalah semangat prihatin dan kasih sayang tanpa mengira bangsa dan anutan agama. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, saya rasa semangat yang ditunjukkan oleh pimpinan-pimpinan agama dan NGO-NGO agama ini merupakan sifat prihatin kita, kasih sayang sesama insan tanpa mengira kaum dan anutan agama. Dan itulah semangat jati diri rakyat Malaysia yang sedia ada sesuai dengan acuan Malaysia Madani. Pada kempen ini, kita akan, durasinya ialah selama 2 bulan dan lepas tu kita akan tengok kemungkinan perlu atau tidak diteruskan. Platform yang kita akan gunakan, pimpinan-pimpinan organisasi ataupun organisasi agama dan juga NGO ialah platform GPM, Global Peace Malaysia, dengan akaun yang spesifik untuk fund ini. And fund ni akan di-update secara berkala dan akan di-audit. Dan GPM ini merupakan satu badan humanitarian yang telah aktif 11 tahun di Turki dan di Syria juga, dan merupakan seorang ataupun satu pertubuhan yang diterima ataupun diterima oleh NADMA, which is the National Disaster Management Agency. So with that, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian, kita tahu bahawa I'll continue in English. The whole world rose to the occasion to send assistance, especially search and rescue amid the rubble, where tens of thousands of people are still trapped. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan urged the international community for help, to help. And Malaysia sends its elite search ataupun smart search and rescue team immediately. The humanitarian NGOs too started campaign to collect the funds for the effort. And like all major tragedies, the pain is unimaginable and the needs are unfulfilled. Everyone can play their role, and the reconstruction, rehabilitation is going to take a long time, Brother Osman,
Yes.
It's not 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. We are looking at years of rehabilitation of the victims and the areas. The list, ladies and gentlemen, the list of organizations that are supporting the whole exercise, we represent about 5 million followers and supporters, an estimate. The Wajrana Buddhist Council of Malaysia, and then you have the Allied Coordinating Council of Islamic NGOs, ACSIN, with its 20 NGOs, Global Peace Malaysia, GPM, Malaysian Buddhist Consultative Council, MBCC, Angkatan Belia Islam Malaysia, ABIM, Pertubuhan Iqra, PIM, Association of Next Gen Christians of Malaysia, NCOM, Theravada Buddhist Council, Malaysia, Malaysian Gurdwara Council, Young Buddhist Association of Malaysia, Buddhist Missionary Society Malaysia, Tibetan Buddhist Culture Center, Interactive Muslimah Association, Iman, Buddhist Light International Association, BLIA, Friendship Group of Interreligious Services, FGIS, Catholic Archdiocese of Kuala Lumpur, the Council of Churches Malaysia, and also the Sri Satya Sai International. So we have 18 plus 20 is 38 organizations. Sorry? Ragat Foundation, tak masuk sini, Ragat, thank you, Ragat Foundation. So we are talking about 39 organizations, many of them large religious-based organizations, and also religious-based NGOs, non-governmental organizations. So it is a very big coalition, and we hope to do our little on this effort of the Malaysian Multifaith Fundraising ataupun Malaysia Multifaith Solidarity Fund for Turkey and Syria. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I will call upon Brother Pek Chihen as a co-chair of the campaign to say a few words. Please, Brother Pek.
Thank you. Thank you, Organizing Chairman Tuan Haji Jamaluddin, for your hard work to bring us all together to undertake this joint humanitarian task. I understand His Excellency ML Salim himself, Ambassador of Turkiye. Turkey or Turkiye? Turkiye. Turkiye. It used to be pronounced as Turkey. Now there's a Turkiye.
Yes, that's correct.
So he couldn't join us. So we have Mr. Osman Atas, Second Secretary of the Embassy, and Zainab Hawa Rafiq Ali, the Press Councillor. Welcome. Our deepest condolences to you and your people in facing this devastating disaster. Our prayers are with the victims and also the survivors. My greetings and respect to our fellow religious leaders, Reverend Dato' K. Sri Dhammaratana, Archbishop Julian Yao, Professor Dr. Suresh, Saudara Muhammad Faisal Abdul Aziz, Brother Fahmi, Bante Baranota, and Reverend Jonathan is here, and all the religious leaders. Thank you also to the press who are here to help us cover this launching event. Hope we will reach out to our Malaysian community. So, as a human being, we are naturally sad and cannot bear to hear of such natural catastrophe that affects any parts of the world. And in this modern era, we are actually living in a very small, very interconnected world. Modern technology has allowed us immediate access to world news regarding this earthquake, and even access to personal stories and YouTube recordings of these tragedies. When we hear of 1 death, 10 deaths, 100 deaths, 1,000 deaths, 10,000 deaths, 20,000 deaths, 30,000 deaths, and then 40,000 deaths, and now it's 42. Yeah, you mentioned 42,000 deaths, and the immense sufferings faced by countless surviving victims. Naturally, the wish to help arises. For some of us, Turkiye and Syria, they appear so far away from Malaysia. How can we help? Hence, as a Malaysian, I am indeed touched to hear of the spontaneous and compassionate actions of various groups, including GPM and ABIM, to embark on this humanitarian assistance to Turkey and Syria spontaneously and immediately when the earthquake happened. For many of those of my age group, we are not able to go to the front line to help. Yeah. However, we can still do whatever we can to support from the rear. It was with this thought in mind that the member organizations of the Malaysian Buddhist Consultative Council called for a meeting 10 days ago and resolved to offer this assistance to Turkiye and Syria via GPM and ABIM. We communicated with ABIM and AXIN the following day, and with the leadership of Haji Jamaluddin in our interfaith WhatsApp group, the organization of this campaign of My Multifaith Solidarity for Turkiye and Syria materialized in today's launching event. We are actually quite late in coming together for this novel group effort. We are not a quick response team. Unlike the young people, Abim and Asin, they are young and very quick in responding. So in the meeting, we tell them, go ahead, you go to the site, try to help as much as possible. We will back you from behind to give you the full confidence and support in executing your task. We will distribute this campaign poster far and wide among the Buddhist devotees and network to come on board to join this humanitarian effort. We will ask for support from our holy Buddhist teachers, monks and nuns to encourage their respective students and devotees to donate generously to this cause. Yes, all of us are actually already so busy with so many projects, challenges in our respective organizations. Yet, we will find the courage, the effort, the strength to make one extra step for another human being in need. So, brothers and sisters, let us all step forward to support our brothers and sisters in Turkiye and Syria. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peck. I call upon Datuk Damaratna for a few words. Datuk.
Tuan Haji, Jamal, brother, long time friends. We have been doing many religious and welfare activities many years. I think most of you all know our brother Dr. Amir. So we must thank him, brought him by our Dr. Amir to work together with all the other religious brothers and sisters. And of course, the young group with Abim are always with us many, I think 20, 30 years, maybe more than that. How many presidents change for time. So anyway, very good morning to all the religious leaders and other organization leaders. As we know, why we are here this morning, because we are, as a human being, we wanted to care and support for our fellow brothers and sisters who is having most terrible pain in Turkey and Syria. Few hundred thousands people has already affected, but remember, we always must think about without segregating whatever race, whatever religion, or whatever country. We all are human beings. So under humanitarian ground, so we must try our best to help those people are affected during this earthquake. And of course, we are living in the multiracial, multi-religious country, beautiful country in Malaysia. So we always highlight, we are Malaysian, we must work as a Malaysian, we must live as a Malaysian. So with that strong feeling, and together with as a human being, we are really saddened by this latest incident happened in Turkey. And within our capacity, we must try our best to help. As Brother Jamal mentioned, this is not only just to rescue them, but we have to rehabilitate them maybe within 1 year or 2 years. We can't say how long, but still they need the people's support. So therefore, I strongly encourage our Malaysian citizens and even throughout the world, all the brothers and sisters, if they can come forward to help and look after our fellow brothers and sisters who have affected from Turkey earthquake. I really appreciate, I really encourage them to come forward. Then only we can show our compassion in action. So therefore, under the leadership of Brother Jamal and all the other religious brothers and sisters and all the other NGOs, this morning we are here to make as a unity project to help support our brothers who have already affected in Turkey recent earthquake. With this, once again, thank you very much for being with us this morning, and I hope everybody come forward to work as a one team, one family members to help the really needy people in Turkey. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato' Ratna. Thanks for the encouraging words. And now we pass the microphone to Archbishop Julian Liao for his kind words.
Thank you, Tuan Haji. Firstly, our deepest condolences to representatives of Turkey and also Syria. When this earthquake occurred, I think the whole world stopped and prayed for all the victims. And as the Archbishop of the Catholic Church here in Kuala Lumpur, we send our condolences and also our prayers for all of you, for all those who have been affected by this earthquake. And the fact that all religious NGOs and leaders gathered here this morning, we have come to show our solidarity, to show our support that we are one with Turkey and Syria, and also all parts of the world that are going through suffering. And this initiative, I think, is not the first. We started off with the COVID Solidarity Fund that I think many of the NGOs and religious leaders are also here, and we are continuing in this effort. So I also would like to encourage to pray also for the rescue mission that is happening now in that devastated area, where aftershocks, I think if I remember correctly, there are about 40-50 aftershocks since the main earthquake, and it's still not stable and it's still very dangerous even for the rescue workers. So we remember all those who are there. I believe our global peace mission are also there on the ground, and many other groups are also there helping out in this effort. So we pray, we continue to pray, and may this effort by this interfaith group continue to bear fruit, not just financially that we are launching this fund, but through our prayers and through our intercession from all the different faiths here. So once again, thank you for allowing us to participate, and may this snowball into more cooperation among all Malaysians. Thank you.
Thank you. Archbishop Julian Liao. I'll pass over the mic now to Brother Muhammad Faisal for his words. Silakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Thank you, Haji Ahmad. I would like to draw your attention to the Irish Great Famine in 1840s, which we can see the generosity of the Turkish people led by Sultan Abdul Majid. It was a very interesting story, even historical fact, where first we can see the Ottoman Empire during the time of Sultan Abdul Majid, where the Turkish Empire handed over equipment, foods, and cash for the Irish people during this time. Second, not just by the Turkish government, but also if you look at the historical fact, the community of the Red Indian in the United States also did some like this kind of crowdfunding to have money to help the Irish people, and also the former slaves in Caribbean island. They just former slave. The Spanish colonizer. They just went out from this Caribbean island during the hardship. Even though they were in the hardship, they still had this kind of efforts to help the Irish people. So the lesson that we can learn from this, when we talk about humanitarian need or humanitarian assistance, it knows no boundaries, especially in terms of faith. If you are people rich or poor people, still we have this kind of conscience to help the people. So at the end of the day, when we talk about the need of people need to survive, we are all human beings. We share what we can do, what we can share in order to survive in this world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Faisal, for your inspiring words. Remember, the period was in the 1840s, 1840s, 1850s. And finally, Professor Dr. Suresh, words of wisdom from you and advice.
Thank you, respected leaders, brothers and sisters. It's really a sad moment for all of us. We convey our sincere condolences. FGIS is a group of people comprised of 5 religious groups. Agama Islam is already there. Buddhist Vihara, Council of Churches, Gurudwara Council, as well as the Hindu Sangha. The secretary for that group is the Satisai International Organization. The president is here, Brother Subimara. Former leader was Brother Bidifon. Brother Jamal, firstly, we want to congratulate you and Jeppe. I really feel, sincerely, that from a science perspective, the world is changing. There's going to be a lot more climatic changes are going to be huge, and the effects of this is going to be tremendous. So today is Turkey, tomorrow could be somewhere else. So I think this should be a standard operating procedure. Any part, anywhere in this world, if there is a disaster, this should be a group of people who comes together. And there are lots of good people, but they need to salurkan that fluid in the right way, and it should reach the right way. So the likes of Global Peace Malaysia, with all of us backing like that, will demonstrate there's a proper channel. I think this SOP should be maintained for every disaster in the world. This is a good signal also to show to the rest of the world that religious people must come together. Whatever faith you have, if you should come together like this to demonstrate to the people that we are united. And this is a fantastic reflection of the kind of spirit that every religion calls us for. So I think it's a beautiful opportunity for us to be together. We firstly congratulate you for taking this initiative to do and bring us all together like this. And we will do our very best. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Concise and very deep in meaning. And I think with that, maybe Reverend Jonathan, want to hear 1 or 2 minutes from you, please? Go ahead. Come. Quick, fast. Some words of wisdom.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'd like to once again congratulate you for organizing this very good event. that this is an act as we come together to show that we really concerned, and not only concerned, but we want to help all means that we could do. As churches, we are organizing our own what we call fundraising different means to reach out to the people who are really desperately in need. And this is the God-given opportunity for us to show our love and concern. I believe that the coming days, as Professor had mentioned, many more activities like this will happen. And this is the opportunity to show to the world that we are united as humans, as God.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Reverend Jonathan. We now move on to the presentation by Brother Fahmi Shamsuddin, the CEO of Global Peace Malaysia, and also a report, I think, by Brother Muhammad Salman, who was in Turkey and came back last night. So with that, Brother Fahmi, please. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to everyone. Mr. Jalan and respected leaders from various religions and groups. Alhamdulillah, first I would like to thank to the host, Dr. Azu, and the rest for giving us the opportunity to gather here. And of course, I just want to explain a bit on our initiative from Global Peace Mission. Of course, we would like to thank to Asim and the rest of faith leader, because previously during COVID-19 we have done a tremendous job assisting Malaysia during COVID-19, and we need to further up our initiative up to the international mission or emergency. Of course, Turkiye and Syria is very close to us since we have been working there for the past 10 or 11 years, and the place that took place is almost close to our heart, since this is basically a place where we actively going inside, whether in Turkey or in Syria. Just to give you some explanation of what we thank to the Turkish government, Turkish embassy here for assisting us to accommodate our program and activities. Apart from assisting outside of Malaysia, we also do some project and program here in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, gathering all the aids to be delivered to Turkey via Turkish Airlines. And currently our Chief Operating Officer, Brother Shahir Asfar, now en route from Kuala Lumpur to Damsyik to send over through TUDM A400M for assisting almost 40 to 60 tons of assistance from the generous Malaysian public. So I would like also to invite now Brother Salman Yusof, who is our first head of mission, the key mission. Just recently, he just came back last night. So I asked him not to sleep, but not to have rest, but rather please come forward here to little bit explain and somehow give us more update situation on the ground. So without further ado, I would like to invite Brother Salman Yusof to give his remarks. Please come forward.
I will be presenting from there, since I have a few documents to share on the ground. So basically, we have been since from last Sunday. Our intervention first was at Gaziantep, and then we moved to few provinces like Kuala, Hatay, Kahramanmaraş, and Urfa and rest. And also, I've been in Syria for a few days inside with the coordination with Turkiye and Syria. We entered Syria to assist for some help, but still now we do have our team on ground who are still working with AFAD and also our partners Turkiye and in Syria. So they are currently in Syria. They will be going out from Syria tomorrow and continue their works in Turkey. So basically, this is a few updates about what's happening in Turkey actually. I'll quote some of the information coming from AFAD.
where the initial earthquake was 7.7 and 7.6 magnitude, affected 10 provinces, which is Adiyaman, Gaziantep, Kilis, Hatay, Malatya, Diyarbakir, Adana, Osmania, and Kahramanmaraş, and also Sanad Urfa. So, but some of it we already visited there, and of course, the smells of dead bodies are all everywhere because there are lots of people affected. I mean, up until today, reported yesterday, both in Turkiye and Syria, there are 46,000 deaths, and United Nations quoted that it might be to 60,000. So just before I go through more into the brief discussion, just to mention that Turkey has been into 3 strikes of big earthquake, which is the first one is Bolshuk earthquake, happened in August 1999, killing around 7,000 people. And the second one in 1939, Erzincan earthquake, which struck on 27 December, killed nearly around 32,700 people. And then the last one is in North Anatolia in 1660. It caused around 7.8 to 8.0 Richter scale. So I move forward. Basically, this earthquake happened during everyone was sleeping, 4:10 a.m. just before they can go out for Fajr prayer or starting their works. Because Fajr prayer was there is around 6:20, if I'm not mistaken, and most of them are sleeping. And when I asked them, some of the people who are affected, they say that it's almost like at the end of the day. They didn't know anything. Suddenly, some of them wake up under the rubbles, under the buildings, and some of them just waiting for their families to bring out from the buildings that have been disrupted. And it happened at the peak of winter, leaving hundreds of thousands of people. Next, some of essential services affected, which is schools, hospitals, other medicals, maternity, and educational facilities, where we got this information from our partners like AFAD, DDB, and also our health cluster, and over 200,000 pregnant women who need access to maternal health services were living in affected areas, which is in the 10 provinces affected, and 7.9% of females and 5.9% of males in Turkey were living in disabilities who are affected from this earthquake. And as we know, Turkey, we Malaysians call Turkey as a helping countries, where actually Turkey hosted one of the biggest number of refugees. Only in 11 provinces, these 11 provinces, not including Istanbul, Ankara or other else, they hosted 1.74 millions. And I believe last year only, the report enclosed by Turkey government is around 7 million registered refugees they have in Turkey only. So this 1.74 million refugees also affected from these 11 provinces that impacted by the earthquake. And as 7 February, Turkey President Recep Tayyip Erdogan already mentioned that they will be under state of emergency for 3 months, especially on the 10 affected provinces until then. So we do have our Malaysian team also helping with the smart. I mean, we do have our smart team over there. I think we have around 140 personnel, where they do help in Nurdam mainly. And we have field hospital in Adiyaman, and we also visited the field hospital in Marash, where they coordinated with AFAD. And that's a bit about Turkey overview. So we move to Syria, and of course in Syria is much more worse. I mean, Turkey is the worst among the worst where it's happened. But in Syria, they don't have foreign help. I mean, foreign help are starting to enter. I believe just last 2 days, UN started to enter from the 3 borders, Babul Salama, Babul Rani, and also Babul Hawa. They have Onchupina, and the other 2, I forgot the names, in Turkey. So unaccompanied children has been reported after the mass. Almost many children was left without their parents. Even me myself, I met some of the children who lost 6 of his family leaving him only, and now he's living with his aunt inside the tents that we built for them in Jindiris. Jindiris inside the province of Afrin, one of the affected. So basically they do have 3 affected provinces, which is Idlib, Harim, and also Afrin. And more than 2 million children live in North Syria today. So just imagine about that on these 3 provinces. So it's some of the impact assessment. As in yesterday, we received that 46,000 deaths, where only in Turkey is 40,642. And in Syria is around 5,800, with more than 120,000 reported injured, more than 200,000 buildings destroyed or partially destroyed. And some of the buildings in Turkey, they are not safe to be lived on, just waiting to be demolished by the government. And even some of the buildings around our smart team that I just visited, they mentioned that we need to move the camp, their camp, the smart team camp, because the buildings around them will be demolished, and they are expecting rubbles and everything to come up from their initial camp. So they need to move up to other places. And at least, the second point is at least 13.5 million affected by the earthquake between both sides. In Turkey, only quoted by AFAD is around 12 million people within these 11 provinces. And the earthquake affected at least 133 communities and 34 sub-districts in northwest Syria. The district with highest number of deaths injured are Harim, followed by Afrin and also Idlib. The Ministry of Health of Turkey has warned again using the water in the city. So basically most of the affected places, namely Afad, Jalan, and also everyone, IHH or Hayrat, they already established a wash system to help with the hygiene and also water. So they bring up water from outside, inside the affected places, to provide them with better water, because as we can see, quoted by Ministry of Health, the chlorine measurement has been made at 1,485 points, which is not drinkable for them. It's not suitable for them to drink. And water samples from 415 different points were analyzed, and 49 of them found to be microbiologically non-compliant, and necessary action were initiated, such as they bring up water from outside. And last but not least, Emergency Medicine Association of Turkiye, EMAD, stated that in the upcoming period, hub centers' priorities will be to increase availability of dialysis center, orthotic and prosthetic equipment, and specialized physiotherapy center, because they do need this kind of thing, since many people are affected. Even I visited some families in Urda. He broken both of his leg because of the rubber hits on his leg. Just imagine about that. He cannot move anymore now, so he's living in one of the 10 initiated by AFAD in Urda. And as we go into the humanitarian needs, there are a few humanitarian needs, which is the first one is winterization and shelter. And of course, because this affected at the highest peak of winter. So just imagine people need to move up from their house. Even I stayed in Gaziantep and we don't have heater for 6 days because there is no gas. They closed the gas because in Turkey the gas are I think they distribute by using the main pipeline. So most of it coming from Marash, and they need to close because the Marash pipeline gas already destroyed. As we can see in the early days, they are destructive, like a bomb happened in Marash, but it's not a bomb. It's actually explosion from the gas center. So they need to stop the gas, and the gas just came back 2 days ago. But most of people are living in tents without proper heaters and everything. So before they go to sleep, most of them will stay in front of the tent, make campfire to heat up their body first, and then go to sleep with maybe 3 or 4 layers of mattress to accompany them. And then the second one is of course internal displacement updates. So there are increased internal displacement updates, especially in Hatay, in Marash, in also Adiyaman, in Turkey, and in Syria is much more displacement because they already live in some of tents or maybe destructed buildings, and when these things happen, most of them need to move out. And then third is the shelter needs. Of course, we do receive some requests from AFAD also and also TDB to help us with the tents to be established over there so that they can be put in a better shelter. Because as for now, the tents that they are being living is not equipped for winter. It just is like a canvas accompanying them without a proper heater. And next is number 4 is hospital and medical center overstretched and under-resourced. I mentioned earlier, almost 200,000 medical personnel affected in these 10 provinces. So they are out of capacity, and that's why most of Turkey send up their doctors in these 10 provinces, and of course with the help of some foreign countries that open field of hospitals around these 10 provinces. Next, we do need about wash also. Number 5 is wash, water, sanitation and hygiene. As I mentioned earlier, the water is not drinkable, and as GPM also, previous few days we do help with water and also hygiene kits. And number 6 is urgent funding needed to replenish food stocks. I believe this is much more affected in Syria because the foreign assistance is not reaching up Syria, and not everyone can enter Syria as for now, unless they are being allowed by TDB and also AFAD. And alhamdulillah for us, GPM already established our protocol with Diyanet and allowed us to enter Syria a few years back. And last but not least, closed and damaged schools all around Turkiye, 11 provinces and also in Syria. And next we move to the response and strategy phase that we think can be done within both sides, which is the first one is to ensure the response is as local as possible, as international as necessary. So Turkey has never been in this situation. So when we come over there, we need to make them, to feel them that this assistance as local as it is, to be part of them, to be with their emotion, to feel how they feel in this situation. Second is to put people in the center of response, including through measure to enhance accountability to affected people. So from us, Global Peace Mission Malaysia, alongside with some of our partners and organizations in Malaysia, we work with some partners over there, as I mentioned earlier, AFAD, JDB and everything. We do have this kind of beneficiaries receiver SOPs that we will evaluate whichever need to be helped and everything, because there are lots of assistance coming in, but there are a lot also overwhelmed unnecessary help came. So that's why this coordination is indeed mainly important to be done over there, so that all helps that came to Turkey and Syria being coordinated and being done accordingly. And last but not least, utilizing cash assistance wherever and whenever it is feasible and appropriate, complemented by in-kind assistance. Because in some ways, we also send in-kind from Malaysia, but they also need cash assistance. Because in-kind will remain in-kind, but cash assistance will help them to rebuild back their life, their families, their house, and other kind of things. And other side from that, this is some of the things actually that are currently implemented in Turkey, which is the first one is the SAR operation. They are making the search and rescue. The second one is the immediate life-saving responses, where they send assistance to affected people. And last but not least, supporting people to resume their lives. This is the post-earthquake. Because as for now, there are still search and rescue being done over there. I believe in Syria, they already stopped the search and rescue because there is no more complaints by the families that their families are lost or somewhere. But in Turkey, in Hatay, in Adiyaman, in some part of Nurda, Islahiye, they are still continuing because their families still complaining that their families under the rubble, under the buildings and rest. And in terms of safety and security, of course, the first one is major aftershocks happen. Up until today, I believe what reported by AFAD, there are 3,500 aftershocks happen. But it varies, the magnitude is varies. Some part, like the highest one, if I'm not mistaken, last 2 days in Hatay. But no disrupted building reported, just that because of the earthquake, search and rescue activities need to stop a few minutes, then they can continue back. The second one is large scale internal displacement happened within those sites, these 11 provinces and inside Syria. Third one is damaged but not demolished building still pose a major threat. Because when there is aftershock, they are afraid that this building will be collapsed and killing people if they are still living inside. And the rule came out from Turkiye government is that the people who are thinking that their building are safe to be leaked out cannot stay in the building as for now, because it's not safe as until the aftershock is finished. And last but not least, in most regions, there have been reported of widespread of looting, but security forces are now observed to have taken the situation under control during the daytime. Aside from this, just as an additional report that in Syria itself, because of the earthquake, the hospital cannot be worked out, so the cholera disease has been spread out. Up until today, there are 47,000 people who are affected by cholera that cannot be helped out because of the situation of the hospital cannot be equipped with the things that needed inside there. So what we do actually as for now on ground, the first one we move to food security, we move to ready to eat meals, and second one is cooked meals. We open up some cooking center. We do have our cooking center in Gaziantep, we have in Nurda and also in Marash, where we work with some part of in some part of association over there. In Kahramanmaraş we work with Khairat, in Nurda we work with the Wali of Gaziantep, and the rest we work by ourselves since our team are still there. And second one is wash. We focus on water and hygiene. In some places we distributed the water tanks so that they can use clean waters, and also hygiene kits to help them to clean up themselves and everything. And last but not least is shelter. We set up a few tents in some few provinces as well in Syria. As for today, our team are setting up the camps in Syria. Last 3 days, we established some of it in Turkey with the coordination with AFAD in some part of Gaziantep province, which is Nurda and also Slatia. So that's a little bit brief about what actually happening in Syria. I believe our Mr. Osman and also Zainab from the embassy knows more about what actually happening there. So this is just a brief update of what GPM are currently doing over there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Brother Salman. Thank you very much. We were in Istanbul with Brother Salman 1.5 years ago. So I met him in Istanbul, and he speaks good Turkish and Arabic. So he knows Malay, English, Turkish, Arabic. And what else, I'm not sure. Anything else that quite versatile. I think before we open any questions to the press, can we get Mr. Osman Aktab from the Turkish embassy to say a few words?
Yes.
Please, sir. Thank you.
Dear respected leaders and representatives of multi-religious organizations and NGOs, on behalf of the Ambassador of the Republic of Turkey to Malaysia, His Excellency Emir Salim Yüksel, I would like to extend my sincere appreciations for this remarkable initiative that is aimed to contribute to the relief efforts relentlessly going on in Turkey at the moment. Our ambassador apologizes for not being here today as due to his prearranged program. I would like to particularly thank to Mr. Muhammad Jamaluddin Shamsuddin from Exim, Mr. Pek Chi Hen from MECC, and Mr. Fahmi Shamsuddin from GPM, Julian Liao from ADKL, and Wenda Toksi Damantarana from MECC, and Muhammad Faisal Abdulaziz from Avilu. This initiative clearly shows that in the face of emergencies and calamities, Malaysians rise to the occasion to provide assistance with all its multi-faith communities in the spirit of helping humanity. I would like to take this opportunity to remind that currently in the region that the most needed items are portable toilets, portable bathrooms, and winter tents, and as well as blankets and beds. And also for financial donations, our embassy official accounts are available as declared for our embassy website as well as social media accounts. Once again, I would like to thank you very much for standing with us during these difficult times. We are stronger together.
So thank you very much, Mr. Osman, for the kind words. We will open the discussion ataupun the meeting to any questions by the press. Is there any questions, please? Do we have?
Maybe before that, some technical questions can be asked.
By whom?
Based on the paper.
Paper, yeah, please, yeah.
So
quick one.
I think there is a huge amount of people interested to donate, interested to bring money and all that. So that paper is very comprehensive and very good.
Yeah.
But if we can summarize that in a single page,
Yeah.
what are the essential needs? What are the most critical things? What is expected? Then that will basically can be sent out.
Yeah.
Then probably that will be a better way of getting
Okay.
funds. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, for example, in the for us in the Satisai International Organization, we are present in 114 countries. We are present, but now the problem here is that everybody wants to channel the funds, but we don't have a base there. So if you have a base, for example, if you're saying GPC is the
GPM.
GPM is the base, and that can be a recognizable, reputable base, then we can channel the funds there. We just need the money to go somewhere which can be used properly.
Yes, correct. Thank you. I think, Fahmi, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Probably
go ahead.
On the technical side, probably because there are many requests. Humanitarian-based NGO working together with us with regard to this emergency relief. But of course, I think now we also received from the BIA, the Muslim International Association. They wanted to have a very specific project that one can be arranged due to, based on the first Ricky mission report just now. Probably we can arrange for that with the collaboration with our partners. Of course, whatever program initiative that we have on the ground is with the supervision or with the approval from the local council in charge. We can do
Okay.
that. As for this campaign, My Multifaith Solidarity Fund, everyone who like to donate for this specific, because we arrange for a very specific online platform for the crowdfunding, you can go to platform named solidaritygempa.com. It's easier to solidaritygempa.com. So that will be our so-called online platform crowdfunding for this initiative campaign specifically, so that we can monitor all the donation coming in through our account, and we can have a meaningful or more sustainable project rather than just a need.
I think, sorry,
Sure.
I think that's the main point in a way, because one is during the pre-disaster, during disaster and post-disaster. Post-disaster is the rehabilitation part. If it's all coming from all the Malaysian NGOs, as you said rightly, if it can go to somewhere where it can be literally, there is a hospital, something that will be long-lasting and beneficial. Is what you said.
Yeah.
I think last time, for information, we have this initiative earlier to respond to the attack in Idlib. So what we done is basically to get a group of NGOs coming together. But
in the future, what we managed to do is basically to have our own kampong containing hundreds of houses for the refugees, specifically in Italy. So that will be a meaningful project on the ground. That is basically a housing area, hundred of house, mosque in the center with the Masjid Negara model, to show that this is basically our Malaysia initiative and campaign.
Yeah, that's why Dr. Suresh, I think what we have done is we are not experts in humanitarian work, so we have all got together, we have got a consensus that we will work with GPM, and they are also recognized by the government under the NATMA. So any inputs from time to time, I think we will be updating. Yeah? And I think what Professor Suresh is saying is that it's good to have juga 1 or 2 or 3 showcase projects that we will have a link or feeling for. Yeah? I think that we can discuss, inshallah. And what we have targeted is very, I would say, very conservative. We are targeting for $1 million fundraising over the two months. And I know that's a drop in the ocean. It's a drop in the ocean, but the thought, the effort counts. And we don't know if some people want to contribute much more, then more can be done. And we have full confidence in the work of GPM. And this multi-faith group will also have a group of us constantly monitoring what is going on with the projects and the use of the funds. Mr. Peng, we will get about 4 or 5 of us to help and support GPM in this effort. So that's to give that confidence to those who are contributing, inshallah. So okay, any more questions before we go to give the press a chance? Any questions maybe from the press? Brother Samir, you have to ask a question because yeah.
We understand that Turkey is strong enough to handle the situation, but the government and NGOs are well organized and they have experience. The main question is regarding Syria, how to lead the people.
Yeah.
The main question remains is how to reach the people affected in Syria, inside Syria. There are 2 ways, that one way from Turkey and the other way is from the Syrian regime, Damascus. And many people think that this is, or donations will be politicized, goes from Damascus. And there's a lot of difficulties also to reach places in Syria, Aleppo especially. So is there any mechanism that you have to leave that place without misusing or risk of losing these donations and goods going to Syria?
Okay, thank you. That's a real technical question. I think Brother Fahmi, you want to address that quickly? The risk of losing the funds if going through a certain channel. So,
I mean,
yeah.
of course, there is 2 ways of dealing with this. But through the government of Malaysia, we understand that Malaysia still recognizes Syria, the government of the current Syrian regime, for that matter. But at the same time, through us as a civil society movement, we have other alternatives. The channel that we are using is basically through our specific NGO name, Malaysia for Syria. This is basically our own initiative, specifically working on Syria for the past 10 years. And Alhamdulillah, because this incident basically is a neighboring country, Turkey and Syria, we work closely with Turkiye and Ikuti and Afad, so that whatever channel aids coming in from us is through our partner or those who basically in charge in that particular region. So that's probably will help you.
Yeah. So the answer is this fund will go through, not through the government channels in Syria, but through our own channels, and direct to the victims. Okay, any more questions? I think anyone can ask the question.
I just see your website. Can you have it in?
English. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That one
Maybe
just,
have it in English. I don't know whether have it in Chinese or not.
we can, if you can translate, then we can.
We have to work lah. Because the people in our network is more Chinese. Yeah, so yeah, I think we work towards that lah. The first is to
And is it?
various other mediums lah.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for the input. So, any more questions before we have lunch? Simple packed lunch. Any questions? Astro Awani tak ada No questions. Okay. Clearly understood. Most of the topics is here, ataupun the information is in here, and the organisation supporting is here, and whatever information that is required, you can get it from us here later if you need be. Anyone else? One final question? Tak ada, brother? You seem to be getting ready to ask a question. Please. Go ahead. Tak ada, No. Okay. Anyone else? Tak ada. So I think we can we call for apa ni lah, Brother Haji Adam, the MC. I pass back to you. Is Brother Adam around?
Kita ada tekad sikit nanti kita semua pakai, kita ada gambar.
Picture, okay. We will take a picture. All right. With that, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ada video, okay. Boleh.
Ada apa?
Ada video.
Oh, short video, okay.